Hello and welcome to a daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's day is Tuesday the 1st of October 2024, the year of 1 million transactions per second and more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little Flutter and private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's see what we got in store for us today. Just a few articles on Twitter that I want to go over. Then we got this one. So it says Satoshi Nakamoto's new mystery, 2009's missing blocks, just when you think you know everything about Bitcoin's creator. Oof, alright, let's see what's going on there, sounds juicy. Got an article here by Forbes, says $16 trillion by 2030. BlackRock is quietly backing a radical new US dollar rival amid a Bitcoin and crypto price boom. Alright then. Then we got 1st of October. A little bit of Bitcoin history. There's an article that I want to just go over there. A classic one about Russ Ulbricht being captured on the 1st of October. And then we'll have a quick look at the figures. Yeah, they're looking like kind of juicy. See what's going on. And that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
Here we are then. Right. So, post here from Dr. James S. Marshall saying, should have been defrocked for this performance. And that's what it was during the Copa versus Satoshi Nakamoto trial. An absolute disgrace, but we know whose side is on. It's got a picture of a lizard there. That's funny. Still can't hide evidence of Craig being Satoshi forever. It will come to light. Fiat Lux, Fiat Latex. Yeah. And let's see what Alex Flavel has just put. A code of conduct for the Supreme Court judges. Judges are to avoid situations which could be considered appearing to be biased. They also consider conferences as a part of the job, but should stick to education and debate of legal matters for public interest, not Bitcoin lessons. Let's see what this is all about. Judicial conduct. Yeah. However, the justices recognise that it's important for members of the court to deliver lectures and speeches, to take part in conferences and seminars, to write and to teach, and generally to contribute to debate on matters of public interest and law. The administration of justice and the judiciary, their aim is to enhance professional and public understanding of the issues and of the role of the court. In making such contributions, the justice will take care to avoid associating themselves with particular organisation, group or cause in such a way as to give rise to perception of partiality towards that organisation, including a set of chambers or firms or solicitors, group or cause in the conduct of their judicial duty. So he has absolutely failed there. In their personal relationships with individual members of the legal profession, especially those who practice regularly in the Supreme Court, the justices will avoid situations which might reasonably give rise to the suspicion or appearance of favouritism or partiality. Bias and the appearance of bias. The question whether an appearance of bias or possible conflict of interest is sufficient to disqualify justice from taking part in a particular case is the subject of the United Kingdom and the Strasbourg jurisprudence, which will give guidance to the justices in specific situations. Leading UK cases include Porter versus McGill. I think Craig has already mentioned that one. Lacobo Bail, UK versus Bayfield Properties. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. And there was another point here as well. So Elon Musk said the FCC is breaking the law. Check this out. So Brandon Carr said here, the FCC just released the text of its 2-3 decision to approve a Soros-backed group purchase of 200 radio stations. As if that isn't a monopoly. This is unbelievable. The Commission's decision today is unprecedented. Never before has the Commission voted to approve the transfer of a broadcast license, let alone the transfer of broadcast licenses of over 200 radio stations across more than 40 markets without following the requirements and procedures codified in federal law. Not once. Yeah, this is just again, since Barack Obama repealed the act that allowed propaganda. I can't remember what they call it. Smith-Munsford Act or something like that. I mean, it's just corruption, literally on a biblical level. unbelievable is what we're dealing with today. And Elon Musk is calling it out. Alex Flavel also posted here. This is quite funny. He said, can you imagine every COPA member having to put a declaration on their website homepage and social media account declaring Dr. Craig Stephen Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin? I mean, absolutely. I mean, there is nobody talking about SegWit. SegWit is absolute fraud. Will anybody ever pose that to people like David Pierce? Like, oh, you're an attorney, you're a patent attorney. Do you have any common sense whatsoever? Explain to me what SegWit is. Oh, so you're segregating the digital signatures. So how is that not fraud? Like, honestly, just it's unbelievable what's going on, you know. And Craig also put here, the irony is thick enough to choke on. COPA screaming about censorship resistance, about free speech. And what do they want? They want to shut me up, or basically want to shut him up. They want to gag me. They can't stand what I have to say. So they run around pretending to be the defenders of free speech while they're the first to pull the plug on anyone who doesn't toe their line. It's the same damn story. They talk freedom, but only the kind they can control. Again, I mean, we've seen this before, so that's why I posted this. Accuse the other side of that which of you are guilty. That was from Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda administrator. And again, as we know, it's the victors of the war that basically get to write history. So I actually suggest, now knowing what we know, that we should question even this, that he was their minister of propaganda and all this kind of stuff. You know, who was behind them? Who taught them how to do all this? You know, and who was pretending to be on their side when they weren't, and they basically used Hitler as a patsy. You know, all you got to do is watch my Silverfish documentary. Yeah, and look at this. If the Democrats win, it will be the last election. John Kerry says, if Democrats win, we can change the First Amendment to first fight disinformation. Yeah, unbelievable. And I'll put here, and people ask who the tyrannical globalists are. Look, it's in your face. It's in your face. The Clinton Global Initiative. Look, Global Initiative. Global Initiative. It's unbelievable. And people say there aren't globalists. And check this out. This is really funny. UK citizens, stop illegal immigration. UK government, best I can do is monitor your chickens. Brilliant. You've got to fight these people with sarcasm and humour. It's the only way you can do it. You know, because they literally own all the resources. Anyway, let's get on to this. So this was just an article by Peter Rizzo from Bitcoin posted in Bitcoin Magazine saying Satoshi Nakamoto's new mystery, 2009's missing blocks. Missing blocks? How can they be missing? Just when you think you know everything about Bitcoin's creator. Really? Well, yeah, we know a lot. They know absolutely nothing. So it says, who we're following, Wicked Bitcoin. What's that? Good job, I've got him blocked. Yeah, more propaganda nonsense from there. But anyway, it's 2024 and there's a new mystery surfacing around Bitcoin's creator Satoshi Nakamoto. Yeah, right. In this case, discussion of a new enigma first surfaced on X, where everyone's favourite artist, Wicked Bitcoin, posted the discovery. Essentially, he's finding boils down to this. One, it's clear that Satoshi Nakamoto was an early Bitcoin miner. No, really? After all, he sent Bitcoin to early contributors, and since he didn't set himself up with a sweet founder's allocation, they could have only come from mining. Well, exactly, otherwise it would be a security. That said, we don't really know how many Bitcoins Satoshi mined. He never commented it publicly. Aside from one report instance where he claimed to own a lot of Bitcoins, most of what's common knowledge is from one study done in 2013, and while it's become something like law, there's a lot of dispute about what it proves. Essentially, the study suggests that Satoshi's mining activities was visible on blockchain via what's been called the Patoshi pattern. Long story short, an early, very large miner changed the way they enabled data on the blockchain via non-standard integration of external nonce. And most believe that this could be nonce is number used once. And most believe this could have been done by Nakamoto, who knew the most about the software in its infancy. 4. Jameson Lopp, co-founder of Casa, built on this work in 2022. He added new analysis about the mystery miner, including the finding that they weren't seeking to maximize their profitability. Some felt this was another strong data point. Satoshi was Satoshi. Now, Wicked is adding to the mystery one that alludes to earlier Satoshi analysis. Essentially, by plotting this miner's blocks on a date-time axis, he finds that there's a notable gap in the timestamp of this miner's blocks in early 2009. Of course, as to what we can conclude from this data, as Wicked's comments section shows, that's up for debate. Adding to the issue is that here is a dearth of historical information about Bitcoin from 2009. What's been uncovered amounts to a few public emails, lists and private correspondences that have been published over the years, some forced by court hearings. As far back as May-June 2009, there were no Bitcoin forums, and it's possible there could have been only a dozen people mining the network. Marty Maui, Satoshi's first right-hand developer, would have only just been starting his work. This means that we don't really have a concrete timeline or what occurred and why, besides what's visible by looking at data, and there isn't even that much to discuss. There were many days in 2009 where there weren't any Bitcoin transactions. Well, yeah, but you can still mine the blocks, win the block reward. Wicked's thesis here is that the above grasps show instances where the Satoshi miner went offline and then had to restart operations. At this point, the miner was so powerful they simply overwrote any blocks found by other miners in their absence. We'll have a look at this in just a minute, see if the dates correspond with what I'm thinking of. Wicked draws a few conclusions from this, going so far as to suggest Satoshi may have been testing how well the network held up to a 51% attacks. Bit early for that, I think. This would be plausible. After all, the idea that Bitcoin was robust enough to operate as long as a majority of participants were honest was the major contribution to digital cash as a concept. Really, you could argue, as I have, that that's the only thing Satoshi brought to Bitcoin that was new, his primary skill, taking hardened computer science concepts and stitching them together. That said, there's a bit of a bearish read here. An accidental 51% attack would have still made honest mining moot, and this could be a fodder for critics who like to paint Satoshi as the kind of errant experimenter we see on the other chains today. Still, there's a lot of conjecture here, and without more analysis or more corroboration in Everest, it's hard to draw a firm conclusion. At any rate, we marvel at the mystery that nearly 16 years later, Satoshi succeeded so well in hiding his tracks from history. What a joke. What, hiding his tracks from history. Right, let's go back to where they were talking about. Right, so as far back as May-June 2009, there were no Bitcoin forums, and it's possible that there could have only been a dozen people mining the network. Marty Maumi. This means we don't have really concrete timeline or what occurred, or maybe of what occurred, and why besides what's visible by looking at data. And there isn't even that much to discuss. There were many days in 2009 when there weren't any Bitcoins. What's this? Satoshi's Wicked's thesis. Here is the above gaps to show where the Satoshi miner went offline and then had to restart operations. At this point, the miner was so powerful that it simply overwrote any blocks found by other miners in their absence. Let's have a look at this then. Moral behavior seen on Bitcoin from Satoshi in May 2009, with those 75% of the hash rate at the time. My best guess is that he was testing out 51% attack, or how a 51% would actually work, by 51% attacking the network a few times throughout this week, from the 19th to the 25th. So they're saying that's the 25th of May. Okay. Where was that? So 19th to the 25th of May. All right then. Let's just have a quick look at this. (19th to the 25th of May). Let's see. So the network hadn't started then. We need to go to January. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Right, let's have a look at this. Remind ourselves of this date. Right, so that was 10th of January when it went offline for a bit. Alright. Might have to look into that myself. Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright. So there is now this article here by Forbes under the heading of digital assets. So $16 trillion by 2030. BlackRock is quietly backing a radical new US dollar rival amid a Bitcoin and crypto price boom. What's all this about? Okay. So the Bitcoin, that's great coin, and crypto prices have surged this week, climbing as traders brace for major earthquake, really. The Grapecoin price has more than doubled over the past year, pushing higher by the world's largest asset manager BlackRock embrace of that's Grapecoin and crypto. With a surprise BlackRock spot Bitcoin Grapecoin exchange traded fund price shock just around the corner. Now, as fears are swirling, the US dollar is on the verge of total collapse. BlackRock's USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund bundle is being used to back a new stablecoin described as key milestone in the $16 trillion by 2030 race to tokenize finance. Really, crypto company Ethana, which earlier this year launched a so-called synthetic US dollar stablecoin called USDE. That's swelled to $2.6 billion circulating supply, has announced a new stablecoin called USTB that will invest its reserves in BlackRock's bundle via real-world asset tokenization platform Securitize. USDTB will be fully backed by BlackRock's bundle in partnership with Securitize, enabling a separate fiat stablecoin product alongside USDE, Ethana's official X account post. As the largest tokenized US Treasuries fund with over $522 million in assets, Bundle provides USTB with a secure foundation Securitize account posted. This collaboration represents a key milestone in the evolution of tokenized finance, bringing together leading innovations in stablecoin and real-world asset tokenization. In May, BlackRock led a $47 million strategic investment in its bundle partner Securitize, widely seen as a long-term bet on crypto, with the fund allowing investors within crypto ecosystems to earn dividends on the treasury fund while keeping assets on chain. Again, more of a Ponzi scheme. Anything that gives out that. BlackRock, which manages over $10 trillion globally on behalf of clients, led the campaign last year to bring a fully fledged spot Bitcoin ETF to the US, winning approval from its IBIT and the fleet of other spot Bitcoin ETFs in January. In July, BlackRock's chief executive Larry Fink said he's been wrong about Bitcoin, until he got into it, when he'd previously dismissed it as an index of money laundering, admitting Bitcoin is digital gold, whatever, and a legitimate financial instrument. Don't believe anything these people say whatsoever. As JP Morgan said, every man has got two reasons for doing things. The reason he tells people and then the real reason. Fink revealed last year that he believes the tokenization of assets on blockchains will drive a revolution on Wall Street, as everything from stock markets, pre-IPO stocks, hedge funds, infrastructure projects, commodities, alternative investment instruments, and private credit becomes tokenized. He quotes here, at BlackRock, we believe that tokenization has the potential to drive a significant transformation in capital markets infrastructure. BlackRock's global head of strategic ecosystem partnership, Joseph Callon, told Fortune in May. Our investment in Securitize is another step in the evolution of our digital asset strategy. Earlier this month, a report from crypto company Chainlink found the current value of tokenized assets is almost $120 billion, with Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, holding 58% of all tokenized assets. On a centrally controlled, economically worthless chain. Oh, dear oh dear. In 2022, a Boston consulting group found the total size of liquid asset tokenization globally would be $16 trillion by 2030, while in 2021, the World Economic Forum estimated that $867 trillion of value is already to be disrupted by tokenization. That's a lot. But yeah, I would say they're about right on that. Yeah, quadrillion dollars. Yeah. Wow. See, they know. But they're just hoodwinking all the shitcoiners with shit for brains who don't really have a clue what's going on. Right, so let's have a look at Bitcoin history. Check this out. We're almost at the end of this. Look at this. So I actually started this on October the 3rd. And we're now October the 1st. So literally tomorrow is a whole year of doing this. And there's only a few days that I've not actually found anything on it. But here we go. So October the 1st. There was a quote here from Julian Assange saying, in the era of mass surveillance, the last free living people will be the ones who know how to use cryptography. Yeah, he's true on that one. Also on the 1st of October, Ross Ulbricht was captured. The founder of Silk Road, captured in 2013, and the number of Bitcoin they had was astonishing. And also check this one out. So on the 1st of October 2020, another gaffe from PMAC when he said, what fucking idiot is selling all their concert tickets on the Lightning Network? I mean, we have a perfectly good system for debit and credit cards already available for that. Why would you need to do that anyway? I don't even see a use for that, honestly. I mean, there just should be a whole section related to Pete's gaffes. Honestly, absolutely had no idea what Bitcoin is. I just stick with good old fiat. But I saw him questioning the actual what's going on the other day. He's like, oh, maybe it's not all that good. Maybe it's the bankers that are the crooks in this. You might be right there, Pete. So let's see what this article is here. So prosecutors in the Silk Road trial present damning evidence from Ross Ulbricht's computer. If alleged Silk Road mastermind Ross Ulbricht had woken on October the 1st, 2013 and decided to toss his laptop into the San Francisco Bay, he might still be a free man today. But Ulbricht didn't, and prosecutors in New York trial seized on the contents of the computer Wednesday, painstakingly wading through the screenshot after screenshot of highly incriminating chat logs, journal entries, and expense reports found on it. The material, which even included a citizenship application for the island nation of Dominica, spanned years and appeared to explicitly tie Ulbricht to the darknet marketplace. Ulbricht was arrested on the afternoon of October the 1st while sitting at his laptop in the science fiction section of his San Francisco Public Library. I think they actually got that on film. Might have to find that again. FBI computer scientist Thomas Kernan testified Wednesday that a male-female FBI team pretended to have a domestic spat behind Ulbricht, causing their targets to raise from his seat. At the time, Ulbricht was chatting online with an undercover Homeland Security investigator who was secretly working on the site's administrator. For the site's administrator, before arresting Ulbricht, agencies quickly grabbed his computer, leaving it open and unencrypted, and exposing what prosecutors alleged was Ulbricht's secret life as Silk Road's head honcho, the Dread Pirate Roberts. Among the thousands of pages of chat logs on the computer was one between a user called Shh and myself, a label auto-assigned in logs by the Pidgin chat client to a person prosecutors allege was Ulbricht. Subtitle here: Ross Ulbricht's defense suffers setback after judge ruling in Silk Road trial. Read more here. It's a different article there. So, may I ask to whom I'm speaking? Asked Shh, a formality, of course. DPR and UR, the local user replied using an abbreviation for Dread Pirate Roberts. In January 2013, Ulbricht was allegedly chatting with a user called Scout. The woman behind Scout would later create the Sirius account that Homeland Security agent Jarrod de Yenyan commandeered to infiltrate Silk Road. At the time, she was concerned about the possible legal repercussions of her involvement with the site. Ulbricht allegedly attempted to allay her fears. Quote here, I guess this is Ross Ulbricht. He said, "The way I got over it is by looking at the risk-reward." They said, "Put yourself in the shoes of a prosecutor. There's nothing on your laptop for them to use." Yet Ulbricht's laptop apparently contained meticulous records and even what appeared to be a backed up copy of the entire Silk Road site. In a journal entry from February 2012, Ulbricht allegedly wrote about receiving Silk Road. are conceiving Silk Road. Quote here, the idea was to create a website where people could buy anything anonymously with no trail whatsoever that would lead back to them, the entry read. Little by little, people signed up, the author wrote. Then it happened, my first order. I'll never forget. The next couple of months, I sold about 10 pounds of shrooms through my site. Should have stuck with that, mate. In 2010, Ulbricht allegedly grew psychedelic mushrooms in a cabin in Bastrop, Texas. Illicit merchandise and later became the first drugs advertisement on the site soon after it launched in early 2011. That experience was outlined in an entry read aloud by prosecutor Timothy Howard. By the time Silk Road was shut down the day after Ulbricht's arrest, investigators say the site, which utilised the anonymising Tor network, had handled some $1.2 billion in Bitcoin transactions, the vast majority of which were drug sales. Other journal entries found on the computer show the author speaking highly of a user called Variety Jones, describing the person as a mentor who helped resolve coding hiccups and security lapses. Elsewhere, the diarist recounted recruiting and hiring Silk Road's first staff members. A text file titled Interview Questions aimed at possible recruits asked, how do you intend to launder your earnings? Great. Ulbricht's defense attorney, Joshua Drassel, has conceded that Ulbricht started Silk Road but argues his client gave up soon after on the economic experiment, handing over the reins to others who later framed him. The hoard of data culled from Ulbricht's laptop appears to directly contradict that version of events. In addition to that chat, logs and journal entries, expense reports and records of his net worth run without significant interruption from 2011 to the fall of 2013. One journal entry is dated the morning of his arrest. Agent Kiernan, who kept Ulbricht's computer open and active for several hours after the bust to avoid having it revert to a locked status, said a private PGP encryption key was found on the Samsung laptop, synced with a matching public key posted on the Silk Road by the Dread Pirate Roberts. The private key was stored in an aptly named keys folder. Oh dear. Nicholas Christine, an assistant research professor at Carnegie Mellon University who focuses on the darknet, said that though the evidence was damning, the PGP key, a data encryption tool that provides cryptographic privacy and authentication, might be the least of Ulbricht's worries. The key could have been shared by several people, Christine told Vice News. In particular, it could have been passed on from one owner to its successor. The possibility that multiple users and multiple people using the Dread Pirate Roberts handle were in control of Silk Road at various times is central to the defence. Quote, I'm curious to see how they will try to explain the diary away, said Kristen. In theory, files could have been planted on the laptop by somebody else, but demonstrating this convincingly to the jury is going to be tough. Some of the chat logs took on a tragicomic air in light of the possible life sentence Ulbricht faces for charges that include conspiracy, narcotics trafficking and money laundering. In one, a Silk Road staff member calls attention to the situation of a recovering heroin addict who had won a vacation as part of Silk Road's marijuana-themed 420 giveaway. The employee called Flush said he thought the trip might cause the user, who he'd been personally counselling, to relapse. I should have thought more carefully about dropping 4K on an addict, Ulbricht allegedly responded. Maybe our next prize could be 3 months in rehab. Oh, at least he's got a sense of humour. Another Silk Road staffer worried about a user listing cyanide on the site. Ulbricht allegedly responded that we want to err on the side of not restricting anything. We decided to allow it. Also including the laptop's labyrinth of folders were scanned images of identified documents belonging to Silk Road staffers, something Ulbricht is said to have acquired before hiring them. Prosecutors showed the license of a man named Andrew Mitchell Jones, also known as a Silk Road employee Indigo, who was busted for drug trafficking and will testify against Ulbricht. The laptop revelations came a day after the presiding judge, Catherine Foster, threw out key portions of the testimony that described federal investigations into former Bitcoin kingpin and Mt. Gox owner Mark Karpeles. Last week, defense attorney Dratel positioned Karpeles as the person who set up Ulbricht and left him holding the bag. Dratel objected to the introduction of nearly every screenshot Wednesday, but Foster overruled him each time. Kernan, who will continue to the stand Thursday, has yet to be asked by prosecutors about journal entries said to show Ulbricht attempting to order assassinations. It's unclear how the defence will attempt to be rebuilt Wednesday's evidence. It's rare for a prosecutor to be presented with a goldmine such as the journals and logs. In that respect, they may support Drattel's claim that Ulbricht was simply too careless to be the famously secretive Dread Pirate Roberts. One journal entry, however, pointed to a different reason for the record keeping. Imagine that someday I may have a story written about my life, it said, and it would be good to have a detailed account. Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. But there we go, and the rest is history. That's a 30-minute show. Let's have a quick look at these figures then. Massive price drop here across the board. Bitcoin down to just $46. We've got transactions. That's up to 78. Let's have a look at that. Look at that. So that's 2,934,080, representing 44% of the overall transactions on the entire network. Block size, have a look at what's coming through. Oh, look at that. Almost a gigabyte block there. 848. 848,000. Well, that's 848 megabytes. Oof, come on. Almost 1,000 megabytes, which would have been a gigabyte. It's currently 52,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin, but you're mining Bitcoin at a 60% comparable loss. That's because nobody wants Gregcoin, really. Right, we've got other miners with, what's this on Bcrash? 52%. Alright, and we'll just cross-reference. Let's have a look at what's on chain for the mining. Tau with 53%. Increasing their mining hash there, 53%. Kuv with 22.3, QD Link 16, Gorilla Pool 5.5, doing well there. Dutch mining 2.1. Let's have a look at the Tether weather. What's going on here? Just ups and downs. Massive increase on the month. Good grief. Whew. So on the year so far, it's gone from 83 billion to just almost like 120 billion. Good grief. Right, let's have a look at my figures here on the SGN on video. 62,200 views so far. Awesome. Let's have a look at Neil Oliver. 161,000, almost 162,000 now. Right, let's have a look at this. Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. Bring it on. Let's have a look. Do we get anything today? Oh. Yeah. Heading downwards. Oh, what about today? Yeah, look at that. Off a cliff today. Rightio. Let's have a look at that on... Oh, that's off a cliff even. Oh, it's just gone down again. Just gone right off a cliff. And that's even compared to BTC. So they must be pumping BTC. That's interesting. Look, it's just gone off a cliff and it's going down again. Let's have a look at USD value. Alright, so it's dropping even compared to USD. Interesting. Interesting. What's going on? Let's have a look at BT. That's Gregcoin USD. Yeah, that's going down as well. Whole market going down. Interesting. Oof, yeah. Dropped off a cliff there compared to Gregcoin. That's a shame. Never mind. Overall market cap down to 2.1 trillion. Let's have a look at Gregcoin here. Trade volume 2.9%. Yeah, look at that. Just dropped off a cliff. Right. Let's have a look at Bitcoin here. Yep, dropped off a cliff there. Right down. Alright, but there we go. That's a 35-minute show. Didn't expect it to go on to this long, but if you enjoy these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sentby.com, Handcash.io, Simply.cash, Relasia.com, Rockwallet.me, or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.